All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Bar and Restaurant 2.0 webinar presented by BuzzTime and Bbot. Today, we'll be showing you 10 ways to bring tech tableside with a personal touch. If at any point during the presentation you have any questions, feel free to chat them to us and we'll answer them at the end. But before we start, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Crystal Hopkins. I am an SEO specialist here at BuzzTime. I was born and raised in San Diego, where I studied marketing, and I've been with the company for a little over 2 years.
And I'm Steve Simoni. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bbot. We're a New York City-based small startup here, and I grew up in Pennsylvania and went to Penn State, and I joined the Navy in my earlier career. I used to do nuclear and electrical engineering, and then after that, I moved out to San Francisco and started a technology company, and now we're here in New York.
Awesome. All right, so Steve is going to go ahead and launch into a little bit of background about the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Crystal. So, today we're going to talk a little bit about, integrating bar and restaurant technology. And so I just want to start off by saying it's definitely not man versus machine. And, the best bar and restaurant tech emphasizes the human element. So, technology is certainly never going to replace the bartender as the therapist. And Crystal and I are here today just to talk about ways that technology can help enhance the experience, but not be intrusive and get in the way. So we're going to discuss, a bunch of different topics, kind of like a survey course here. So we'll talk about marketing and loyalty programs that you can implement. We'll talk different things about how you can offer free Wi-Fi and how that can boost your revenue. Talk a little bit about different entertainment options, and then also talk about different ways technology can help out with dining and serving to help that customer experience. So before we get into each of those topics, I think it's important to talk about the why. Why tech, why now? And right now we're in the digital native generation. So, Gen Z, millennials, they're voracious early adopters of technology. 77% of Americans own a smartphone, and, more and more as, the millennials are going out, they're spending 30% of their income on food and beverage, and they're always on their phone. So people crave technology and they want it. And so basically some other stuff about that, and you'll see here on the slides are, technology is about to help you as a business owner increase your sales and productivity. We talk to a lot of different business owners. We've been to a lot of different shows, and they all say that they believe technology helps them increase their sales and be more productive and help manage their staff. So a lot of different benefits out there for that. And then finally, it's all about that customer experience, that experience. So people are always looking to go out and spend money, but really what they're looking for is to have a great experience. And as restaurateurs and owners, you're out there trying to provide that for them in new and unique ways. And some of those ways that we'll discuss today, they might not work for everyone. And that's why we're going through a variety of different topics to find what works best for you and the experience that you're trying to achieve. Would you say that's kind of accurate? That's what we're going for, Crystal?
Yep, sounds awesome.
Definitely. Cool. All right. Well, let's pass it over to you and have you do it.
Perfect. So let's dive into 10 different technologies you can bring tableside, starting with marketing and loyalty tech. So first in this category are social media apps. And while traditionally, having your phone out at the table is considered rude or bad table manners, from a business perspective, this is actually great exposure for you guys. We see this especially with the food pic trends of people taking pictures, with drinks or dishes that are vibrant colors. If you remember the Starbucks unicorn frappuccino, that was a big craze on Instagram. So a great way to embrace this is by creating your own hashtag. Basically, I've seen most businesses do hashtag their business name. If you do have multiple locations, doing hashtag business name and then the city that you're in. This way, it makes it easier for when people share pictures. You can you can search through them and then find the pictures to share later. But it also makes it easier for people to give your business the credit that you guys deserve, obviously. So one way to incentivize people to share pictures of your food or venue is by running contests. You can hold a weekly photo contest telling people to take pictures at your venue, whether that's your food, decor, your staff. Tell them to use your hashtag when they post it, and then you can pick a winner each week and award them a gift card, or I've seen like 50% off of a tab, whatever you think is going to incentivize people to participate. So which platforms should you be active on for all of this? I'm sure most of you do have Facebook groups, which is awesome, especially for older demographics. But Pew Research actually found that 78% of 18 to 24-year-olds are on Snapchat, and 1 in 3 Americans of all ages are on Instagram. So that is a huge market that you don't want to miss out on. Make sure you're not underutilizing those platforms. Also make sure that you are sharing your own content on there as well. And if you are looking for some ideas, basically anything that's going to make your location stand out from your competitors. So sharing pictures of your staff, maybe if you go behind the scenes of your chef or bartenders, making those cool drinks and plates that users are going to want to share later. And this is ultimately going to get your brand out there, which is going to make it easier for new people to discover your business through social media. All right. Moving on to mobile loyalty apps. So why is this a good business move? Well, Visa Bond did a study and found that 81% of loyalty program members will keep buying from that business. So repeat business is obviously key here. Broken down further, the same study found that 57% of guests want access to a mobile loyalty app. And while this might seem daunting, it actually is a lot easier than you think, which I'll go into a little bit later. But first, a couple of the benefits. A mobile app lets customers track their points right at your table, which on average encourages them to spend up to 39% more. And the reason for this is that earning a loyalty reward basically gamifies purchasing behavior. And if they know they only have 10 points to go before they get the reward or hit a certain level in your program, they are going to spend more to reach it. It basically becomes a fun game, between your business and your customers. Some other benefits of going mobile are reduced paper and plastic of traditional punch cards. And those can also run the risk of being faked or shared. And also with mobile, everyone has their own individual account, so you don't have to worry about people sharing those. And people always have their phones on them, so you don't have to worry about losing anything or leaving anything at home either. So like I said before, luckily setting up a mobile loyalty program is easy. You can create your own using affordable services out there, WiFi or App Institute, to name a few. Or you can also make sure your location has a presence on common rewards apps, 5 stars, Open Table, and Level Up. But always do make sure to check with your POS provider, because a lot of them might already have some loyalty integrations available that you can use instead. So kind of piggybacking off of this gamification experience is another form of tech, which are beer gamification apps. And this one's especially great if you have a big craft beer audience. Some really popular beer apps are Tap Hunter and Untapped, which basically allow people to mark down what beers they've tried, which beers are their favorite, and it lets them see at which locations they can find certain beers at. And then by checking in at each of these locations, customers score points, and it becomes, again, that gamification experience of a competition to see how many beers they can try and where. And so to take advantage of this, you could offer rewards to people who check in a certain amount of time at your place, say 5 times will give you a free beer, or even to newcomers who discovered your location on the app. This is a great way to spread positive word of mouth, especially within the craft beer community, because they are known to talk to each other and kind of give those recommendations. And that also encourages more frequent visits to your location. All right, and then the final piece of technology in this category is in-venue digital marketing. So what does this mean exactly? It is TVs, flat screen monitors, tablets basically that you can turn into digital billboards that you can use to promote upcoming events, specials, and new menu items, to name a few. And so Nielsen actually did a study and proven this as an effective form of marketing, and that the sales of promoted items increased by 33%. So an example, a great way I've seen this done, I recently was at a happy hour, and they were offering $3 off of their Moscow mules. And so obviously happy hours have a time limit for these different promotions. And so they were running every hour, like 1 hour left to take advantage of this deal and so on. And so that does spur a sense of urgency in your customers to spend more so that they can take advantage of those promotions. But digital marketing is also a great way to advertise weekly events you have going on. Maybe you have live music every week, or you do a trivia night. That way you're just constantly reminding people to come back to your venue and spend money. But from an operational standpoint, digital signage is more environmentally friendly as well, which means you don't have to spend the time or money or costs on printing table tents and posters. And so that obviously is saving you money in the long run. And ultimately, if you are looking to upgrade, there are a lot of platforms that can help you set up with digital signage and the tools needed to make your own ads. Some being Do Publicity, NCR Vitalcast, BuzzTime digital signage as well. Just do some research, see which program works best for you. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Steve now, who's going to be going over the next category of technology.
All right, thanks, Crystal. Here we go, push over. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about dining and serving technologies. Let's jump right into it. I was just discussing in chat there about Foursquare and how, actually, Denny is correct that they do it on Swarm now. I forgot about that. It's a good point. All right, so let's go and start off this category, dining and serving, with talking about digital tablet menus. So digital tablet menus are a good way to help with upselling. I don't know if you've been in places with this before, but when people can see the options like, oh, plus $3 for a higher end liquor on the tablet, no big deal, I'm gonna go ahead and get that. So sometimes a lot of your guests don't realize they can pick these options. So it's great for letting them know about upsells. And right now there's a big movement with build your own. A lot of restaurants and a lot of restaurateurs are setting up different build your own environments. And to help with knowing the options, these are really good ways to do that. So depending on your space, you could leverage, or depending on your space, and back to the original point I was making at the start of the show, is depending on the experience you're going for, this could be a great option, especially if you're doing bring your own. And then to piggyback off of what Crystal was talking about earlier about loyalty, helping people build something that's unique to them and ordering on these different tablets can be a good way to, gain customer delight and delight the customers so they talk about it with the other potential customers who will then come in the door. And so that's one of the good ways to leverage this type of technology. Another type of technology is a guest-facing point of sale. So, this is not intended to replace the server. Obviously, the server in many different environments is critical to the element of having that great night out, is having obviously top-notch service. But in some places, especially places where there's a little bit more volume, it's good to have a guest-facing point of sale so that customers can close themselves out and you can turn the tables faster. Also, these things come with EMV and chip readers or NFCs, so you can pay very quickly, which is very nice. At the end of the night, I know when I'm going out and dining, a lot of times towards the end of the meal, I'm trying to head out the door because I've already enjoyed all of it and I've spent a while there, and I realize, oh man, I spent an hour and a half. I need to get going. So this is a good way to help anyone who's a guest get going and get out the door and make sure they end the night on a really positive note. And then also, I think the main reason that I like stuff like this is because, it's taking away mechanical tasks that are repetitive. That's what machines are really good at. Machines are there to do things that are very repetitive and over and over again all the time. But humans and servers especially are really good at, bonding and spending time with guests. So anything that frees up the server to walk around and make sure everyone's okay and check on people is good in my book. All right, here's a little crazier topic, a little further out there, robotic automation. So I'll go through some of the pictures here on the slide. So this is not intended to replace humans. This is intended to, depending on the environment or experience you're going for, this is intended to create a different, more futuristic customer experience. So I'll start in the bottom left there. That's a giant robotic arm. I think those things go for about $100K, so really not for everyone. But that's a picture of Zoom Pizza, which is a pizza company out of California. They're using a robot assembly line to build and cook pizza to compete with companies like those. Now, if that's a back of the house robot, I would consider it. And that arm right there, what that does is that scoops up that pie and puts it into the conveyor belt and cooks it up. On the right-hand picture is a robotic, I would say humanoid, it doesn't really look like a human, but it's a robot server. What this is doing is essentially going around a pizza shop or a cafe, and I think this is from Pakistan, where it walks around to different tables and delivers the order that they put in. So that's just kind of a fun, crazy way if you're thinking about building out a new restaurant and you are thinking about using robots to serve tables. And then lastly, in the top left is that's a picture of Bbot. And that's a ceiling-based robot that drives along a track and serves drinks at bars. So this is, people can order from their table on their phone, and it drives around and lowers down to the table with the order that the bartender makes. So it's kind of like the bartender's sidekick. And it's a fun novelty item to, make a different type of experience and differentiate from your competitors. All right, moving on to the last category, or last topic in this category, my personal favorite. This is anonymous mobile ordering. So alluding back to the original first slide I was talking about, creating that guest experience and, offering a seamless interaction for them. One of the things you can do is, in everyone's pocket is already a mobile phone. It's their smartphone, and it's, one of the most impressive inventions of our time. And it's also, I consider it to be the best point of sale, and it's already right there in their pocket. So, letting them order and pay from their phone is a good way to keep the party going. And so you can just, guests can just sit down at their table, go to a website, don't sign up for any app, don't download anything, and just, go to the site and type in the table code, kind of like Panera if you've seen it, and just order and pay and be done there. And then a runner can run out the food. So it's a good way to, allow people to use technology that they love while also improving your operations and your bottom line. All right, let's switch it back over to payment.
Awesome. And so hopefully you'll find this next category as interesting as robots. So we're going to talk about entertainment. And AT&T and Technomic did a study and found that 70% people view dining out an opportunity for entertainment. So in other words, people want a memorable experience when they go out that goes beyond just ordering food and drinks. So what are a couple ways to do this? One, tablet entertainment. You might have seen some of these at Buffalo Wild Wings or Chili's, but basically they're gaming tablets that offer customers free arcade games and trivia right at the tables. They can challenge each other to games, or they can play solo depending on the game, but you're ultimately creating that interactive experience right in front of them. Well, these tablets are also great ways to run live events through trivia nights or poker tournaments. So these not only attract the attention from people passing by your location, so you're getting that foot traffic, but they're also great events you can run on a weekly basis to encourage those repeat visits again. So they're super easy to host. If you are doing, let's say, the trivia night, you can just give a mic to one of your charismatic servers or bartenders to read all the questions. And the good thing about that is, one, you're not spending money on people to come from outside in to host. And also you are creating that opportunity for staff to bond with your customers, which is going to pay off in the long run in terms of customer loyalty. These tablets are also a great way to offer added value during customer wait times. I think we've all been there when we're at a restaurant starving, waiting for our food to come, super hungry, only to see the waitress go to like the next table. So giving something for customers to do while they are waiting is a great way to create that positive experience that will have them coming back repeatedly. They'll also associate that short wait time with your restaurant or bar as well. Essentially, from a sales perspective, people playing these tablets and these games are more likely to stay longer, to play longer, which means they are going to spend more. We did an independent Nielsen study, and that found that 21% more was spent on average when they were playing these games and using these tablets. So creating the opportunity for experience that customers are looking for is essentially that win-win for your bottom line too. All right, so the second kind of entertainment we'll be talking about is live streaming. So if you're not familiar, live streaming refers to events broadcast over the internet directly from an event. Some common examples include fight nights that a lot of sports bars do for boxing or UFC fights. I know personally when I think about the buzz behind like the Mayweather-McGregor fight, I remember seeing bars with their windows blacked out, so people were forced to kind of go and pay the cover so that they could watch the event. And that ultimately helps pay for the subscription cost if you were buying it on a singular basis. But if you are looking for a more consistent subscription package, GoHand Productions offers this to bars and restaurants. They actually also found that 93% of UFC fans return to the same bar in the next 6 months, even on a non-fight night. So obviously, these live streaming events help cultivate those repeat visits, help increase your sales, and those lively and memorable experiences that will have the customers coming back. Another more, it's gaining speed now, not as common, but esports, which are basically video games. And Rolling Stone actually predicted 38% growth in their popularity between 2017 and this year. So they've essentially become spectator sports. So some bars will host, they're called barcraft events, which basically involves live streaming video games and hosting tournaments around them. And so that's a great way to create an engaging atmosphere. There is a lot of competition surrounding video games in general, and you can reward winners of the tournaments off of their tab, gift cards, etc. Other examples that are not as common, but we have like Facebook live streaming baseball games. YouTube does a lot of the esports as well. So again, popularity increase. But while this does sound great, a little disclaimer on this one, there are a lot of really popular forms out there that aren't allowed for businesses. So Netflix, HBO, Showtime, Hulu, and Sling. Those are strictly limited to home use. So you want to make sure that you aren't hosting viewing parties using these services. You'll most likely hear from them in the form of a cease and desist. But yeah, just make sure to do your research and make sure you're doing something that your bar or restaurant can legally do. All right, so moving on, all of that we just talked about wouldn't be possible without this last category, free Wi-Fi. So Toast POS surveyed over 2,000 restaurant guests and found that free Wi-Fi was the #1 most important in-venue technology that customers wanted. And as we said before, like if you want to do these live streaming or gaming events, it is critical to have this, but it also helps boost your business in general. And so Yelp found that 80% of guests return to a bar or restaurant that offers them free Wi-Fi. So why is this such a big deal? Basically, to bring everything full circle that we were talking about, it's because it doesn't eat into their data. So while they are playing around on their social media, using those apps while they're eating, we want them to share those food pics, and so by giving them free Wi-Fi, it is making it easier for them to share from your location. And this essentially equals more marketing for you. And then all just because you were accommodating your customers. So just going that extra step beyond is definitely going to help drive that business. And so those were the top 10 forms of technology that you can add to your bar or restaurant without losing that personality and while adding value for your customers. To wrap it up, Steve is going to give you a few important reminders.
Oh, all right. So a couple different tips here. So the first one, and really I think the most important, is getting the word out. So when you implement something, you need to let your guests know about it. I've actually even seen this firsthand, is sometimes a technology rollout won't be that successful if you don't train the staff and then also promote it and use it as a PR opportunity. So sometimes it seems like it's a little bit of a task to do stuff like this, but really this first bullet is really turning that task into an opportunity and making it a feature of your place and something that people know about and will come and enjoy it. And then the second one is about rewarding behavior. So, you see this with a lot of technology companies, not even restaurant companies. In the early days of PayPal, they gave $5 to new users, for example. So they just did that. And you see that with technology in restaurants. Sometimes if they'll order on their phone, or if they'll use one of the Tableside tablets, you give them extra points or give them a future discount if they come back. So you can, to actually drive adoption here and make sure that it's, your investment is being leveraged to the fullest, you can come up with different unique ways to make that a reality. And Crystal, I don't know if you want to jump in on that point and talk about different incentives that you've seen work.
Yeah, so in terms of incentivizing different customers, to try the technology, we've seen with the tablets especially, offering gift cards, doing a lot of competitions, like essentially anything that is gonna get your customers to interact with not only your staff, but your business in general. So again, I keep mentioning like the off the tab, I think customers really appreciate that. Gift cards obviously have been coming back as well.
That makes sense. I mean, really what you're trying to do is, you don't want to put anything between you want to have a great customer experience, but you also, this is a business and owners want to make money. So you want to do everything you can to lower the barrier of entry and not get in front of the next sale. So yeah, absolutely, incentive programs and different rewards definitely do that and help drive more sales. And then last but not least is training the team. This is very important. So sometimes if you bring in or roll out a new thing or any new feature, even if it's not technology, you always have to train the staff because the staff needs to know the proper messaging that you envision them giving. And also, like it's just very important that they know what's going on so that they feel included. And that way they can pass that same knowledge on to your guests. And again, you always want to spin this as this is fun. This is fun for them. And this is a new thing. And it's something that I know sometimes new things can be scary, but this is something that you should be selling to internally as well as externally. That's the key to this last bullet, is internal and external sales of the idea. Anything to add to that one, Crystal?
I think you covered it on that.
Yeah, so that's kind of the recap there. You want to take and now pass back to Crystal for the conclusion here.
All right, so for some key takeaways, change is the only constant. So I'm sure everyone has heard that before. When it comes to technology, things are constantly being updated. So there are a lot of options that you can integrate with your bar. And so I know we gave you a lot today, but don't be intimidated. Like, take 2 or 3 that you think that would fit, test them out for a little bit, see how your customers react, get that feedback. Kind of ask them like what they want. And so the more that you kind of get their input, the more you're going to see them using that technology, which is going to pay off in the long run. Obviously, again, then your bottom line is just going to increase.
Absolutely. And like Crystal said, I'll jump into like, this was a survey. This was an overview. And, you know, if anyone, for the listeners out there, anyone who's going to watch the recording, if you want to deep dive into any one of these categories, you can reach out to me or Crystal. We're happy to go in deeper on any one of these particular categories. Today, we were just trying to provide that, you know, quick high-level overview for you of the different things out there.
Yeah, exactly. So like he said, if you do have any questions after we go through the Q&A session, feel free to reach out at this contact information. But at this time, does anyone have any questions that we can answer for you?
Yeah, well, I'll hang out here for another 5-10 minutes and take any questions in chat, or if you guys have anything on any particular one of these categories, or even a category we didn't cover.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So yeah, feel free to chat those whenever or reach out to us. Thanks everyone for listening right now. Also, thank you, Steve and Bbot, for joining us on this. We hope this was helpful and encourages you to kind of check out different technologies. Go ahead and, here we go.
Here we go. You want to take that first one there, Crystal?
Yeah, awesome. So do you have any links of providers of new tech companies? So in terms of which categories are you talking about, Brandon?
Or all of them.
Or all of them, yeah. So right now, any, awesome. So we are going to send out a recording at the end of this. It will have all the slides as well, and it will have some more information on different companies for each that you can definitely check into.
Yeah, definitely. And then Michael had a question. I think probably you know the answer to this one, so I don't know if I actually know this one off the top of my head.
Let me see. No, okay. So Michael asked, I know Panera Bread uses the NCR Aloha POS system. Do you know who their vendor is for their kiosks? Is it Aloha or NCR as well? Michael, I actually don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, but I can get that figured out for you and then reach out.
Yeah, you stumped us. You got it.
All right. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Like we said, we'll hang out a little bit in the chat section if you do have any questions. Look out for that email as well, and everyone have a great day.
I'm still around. I'll probably just be on silent if there's anything that comes in. Happy to talk a little more right now.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.